Guys, Bitcoin is gearing up for a decisive move here very soon. Today I'm going to talk about exactly that. I'm also going to talk about some long-term fractals we have for Bitcoin right now. We're going to talk about what we can expect from the Bitcoin ETFs moving forward. We do have some news from the Fed as well as much more. I'm going to talk about the data, decisive data that came out yesterday. Welcome back everybody, my name is Chris, bringing you cryptocurrency videos every day, teaching you how to make money in this market. If you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and activate the bell right now. So let's get straight into it. And what you can see, guys, is that we have once again had a nice pump towards the upside, but just like the previous time, like a couple of days ago when we had a pump up to this point, we have had a pullback and we've also been struggling with breaking through this point right here. But if you zoom out, you can see that we're starting to build a little bit of momentum here of making higher lows. But at the same time, we're also making lower highs. So that puts us in a situation like this where we are eventually going to have to either break through this point towards the upside or break this towards the downside, right? So we're either gonna have a pop towards the upside like this or something like that. But if we have a pop towards the upside, we still need to break through this point, which as you can see, the orange line here has been very key resistance previously. So let's keep our eyes on this, but this is potentially happening within, within the next 24 hours. So be on the lookout for that. On the balance of probabilities, I would say, because I am inherently bullish on Bitcoin, I would say that it's more likely that we see that pop towards the upside and we continue towards the upside as well. So that is what I believe is going to happen. Now, if you look at the weekly time frame, and as you know, guys, we've been looking at a couple of long-term fractals. And one of the first one is that when we went up to the previous all-time high, you know this already if you've been watching my channel, but this is the previous all-time high. And in the last cycle, when we went up to the same point, we struggled for 4 candles. And then on the 5th candle, we had a catapult towards the upside. Now, if you look at this point, so here's the previous all-time high, and we have a similar thing right here. We've been struggling for 1, 2, 3, 4 candles, but this candle is closing tomorrow, so we can still have potentially a little bit of a pump here and make this a nice candle. We just need to go up a few $1,000s and this can all look very well again and be above the orange line up here. So let's keep our eyes on that. The next 48 hours is actually very decisive as this weekly candle is going to close. And also we have that fractal, as you know, where we have so that fractal was having a pump, sideways action, pump, 2 red candles right here, and then from that point we usually, or the previous time we went up, and we were having something similar right now as well, where you had the consolidation, you had the sideways action, you had a pump, and then 2 red candles here, and this is looking very sloppy right now, but 2 red candles, and then on the 3rd candle, which was indecisive, and then really the 4th candle is where we started to catapult up. So essentially the 4th candle after making this local top here, 1, 2 red candles, 1 indecisive candle, and then the 4th candle we started to go up. So here you can see that we have again the local top right here. Then we have 1, 2 red candles, 1 indecisive candle potentially, but this was not really indecisive, but we had a green candle right here. But then the next candle instead had a big pull down. And let's now see when this is gonna close. If it closes nice, and then potentially the next candle or even this candle can start to have a pump towards the upside. This is why the next 48 hours on the weekly candle is very important. Now, if you look at the traditional markets, after having this big drop, we're also seeing a nice pump towards the upside. So that is all good. And also for gold, you can see gold is making a new all-time high. And if you watched my video yesterday, I was saying that it is a very good sign that gold is making new all-time highs and is going up, because I think that a lot of this money is going to eventually flood into Bitcoin as well. Now, speaking of the flows of Bitcoin, you can see that yesterday, $200 million worth of Bitcoin was sold by Grayscale GBTC. However, we still had a net positive flow of $200 million that was added to the Bitcoin ETFs. So that is all good. We continue to see money being invested into Bitcoin here. Now, Genesis had big amounts of Grayscale GBTC. They have now sold all of these ones. So the flows that you've been seeing previously, a big part of this has actually been from Genesis. And so they sold the GBTC, they bought Bitcoin, and this is probably going to be distributed to, Gemini Earn creditors, who, as you know, it's a bankruptcy case here with Genesis. So we will see what's going to happen with that. It's probably going to take some time, but yeah, that is going to be a good thing for the Grayscale flows, at least, that we're not seeing Genesis dump any more GBTC. Now, if you look at the data that came out yesterday, it was actually more positive than anticipated, than expected, right? So the unemployment rate fell to 3.8%, and the expectation was 3.9%. So the unemployment rate is a little bit better than expected. And this means that the US economy has added jobs for 39 consecutive months. So this might lead into the Feds potentially keeping the interest rates higher for longer. But for me, it doesn't really matter that much because it's just, short term. Eventually, they're going to cut the rates. I think that is inevitable. Whether it be in Q3 of this year, whether it be Q2, I don't know. And I know that a lot of people are watching this and trying to play it, but they're going to cut the rates eventually. And even if you look at something like the liquidity, everything leads into the liquidity getting back into the markets. And when liquidity gets back, you can see that typically assets goes through the roof. Now, is liquidity going to go up? So what you have here in black is the liquidity from the US Federal Reserve, People's Bank of China, ECB, Bank of Japan, IMF. So essentially, it means how much liquidity is in the market, meaning lower interest rates increases liquidity. Balance sheet reductions or balance sheet, the Fed buying assets into their own balance sheets like stocks and bonds and whatever, that increases liquidity. So all of these things increases liquidity. And if you look at the flows, this is since 1970. So this is more than 50 years worth of data. And you can see that it has been following a very clear pattern here. And we've been at the bottom here in 2022. Liquidity was drained. Liquidity was very low, but you can see that we are not even in the middle. If this follows the same trajectory which we've been seeing previously, we're not even in the middle here of the liquidity cycle. So the liquidity is going to start to come back and assets are going to pump. This is why I've been telling you, this is the charts they do not want you to see. They want you to save in fiat. They want you to get diluted with, money printing and whatnot. They want to make you poorer. But charts like this is a very clear pattern from 1970s. So yeah, let's keep our eyes on that. I still believe that we are in a bull market. Yes, we're going to have short-term swings. Yes, we're going to have, price action, especially now around the halving as well. You're going to have some swings, but to me, everything is still looking pretty good. And if you look at the IDOs that have been happening on CDFI, they have absolutely been crushing it in March. You had, in March, you had gaming, you had so many good IDOs, which made you 5, 10, 20x on the IDOs. And even now in April, IDOs are stacked on CDFI. Satoshi Sync already did 20x. Trex is having their IDO today. I got big, hopes for RK to earn as well here. Good project. Xverse, good project. I think many of these ones, Soulstorm, I think many of these ones are going to do very, very well. So keep your eyes on the IDOs on CDFI this month, guys. March, they absolutely crushed it. I think also April is going to do really, really well. So yeah, keep our eyes on that. Guys, that is what I got for you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.